Hello, everyone, and welcome to Money Moves. It's been a long time, Justin.
It has been a long time.
And when the world needed us most, we disappeared. Now we are back. We are the avatars of this channel. And we're going to talk about some cap issues. Actually, the Vikings really don't have much cap issues after the recent cut of Riley Reese last night. So, Justin, why don't you get us started here?
Yeah, well, basically, there's been a lot going on, like everywhere. I mean, big moves, especially, with the Vikings cutting Riley Reese, like you said. Kyle Rudolph gone. We got Dan Bailey gone. You've got recently restructuring Britton Colquitt's deal. Those are pretty much our moves this offseason, which have done, mostly Riley Reese helping us in the cap area. But we're in the positive now. So if we can get even more positive, we could start going for some of these higher priced vets. And I think that's kind of the ultimate goal here.
I know the rumors swirling around right now. Today is the 11th of March. Rumors are that the Vikings are looking to trade for left tackle Orlando Brown from the Ravens. Don't exactly know how that will work because I think he's due for another contract coming up here soon, or they just paid him last season. I don't really remember, but he's a Pro Bowler. He's good as fuck. And I don't really know how we're going to afford that. I don't think we're one piece away from turning this thing around, but anyways, we kind of saw the future. Our last episode was like 2 months ago, and I think we pretty much made all these roster moves so far. I think we even said that bring back a guy like Stephen Weatherly into the system might be beneficial. So it was pretty clear at the time what the Vikings needed to do, and that was we knew that the cap was gonna be lower than it was.
Right.
With COVID.
Now we have the official number, so
$182.5 million.
It is 182.5, but after roll forward and some adjustments, which is complicated stuff, it's a little higher than that for the Vikings after all is said and done. But it's about, I think their adjusted cap, it was like 187. Wow. But yeah. All right, so this is kind of the same spreadsheet we showed you guys last time, but it is updated real time as of Britton Colquitt restructuring his deal to the veterans minimum, which is about $1,075,000, and however his salary next year is going to be the same. So it's just helping us this year, which is needed. But
big kudos to Britton Colquitt too for leading on all Vikings fans, saying he's staying here because he wants a Super Bowl ring.
Right.
I want what he's smoking.
Yeah, I don't know. He's dreaming, thinking that, but hey, gotta have hopes in some places. But I've highlighted here who we've already cut. This is official. Riley Reese saving us $11.75 million. That was good, but he's also a pretty good lineman. So
I don't understand what happened there. There has to be a deeper story. My guess is he went into the office saying, "Hey, last season I took a $5 million pay cut, and now you guys want me to restructure my contract again and take even more of a pay cut when you have a quarterback who you just extended, who is bar maybe like top 10."
I think it's because
I don't understand. And he was good last season. How could you not get anything for him?
Yeah.
Like, even a late round pick? I don't understand.
Well, I think we initially obviously tried to restructure, but he saw that I can't remember the names, but there's two linemen who had just recently got franchise tagged for around 14-15 million. So he saw that and he's like, ooh, free agency looks good. And I think that was one of his biggest factors. The trade thing, I don't know why we didn't look at trades more, but
maybe that's that respect thing,
Yeah. So. All right, so if we're looking at this, we can kind of go through the last. If before we cut Riley Reef, we were still in the negative, and now we're around roughly 10 million after this restructure.
Mm-hmm.
So we can kind of do the same thing. We can look at first, if you want to look at our current roster, who you think might be future cuts to keep increasing our cap room. And then we can look over on the right here and look at some possible free agent acquisitions that we could get from there. So starting off with our current roster, I think I know a couple people you might mention, but who do you think would you like to see get cut, and who do you think is likely to get cut?
I think the obvious one here is the 8th highest paid player on the Vikings right now. It's Shamar Stefan.
Yeah.
He has no business being on this team right now for the paycheck he's making.
Yeah.
And I don't think we can even get value for him because his contract's so awful. So I think the only way he's free up cap space is by cutting him.
I mean, I think you're right. I mean, it's kind of swirling around Vikings Twitter too, that he's the name that continuously comes up as a guy that should be cut. And with his dead money situation, it's not too terrible. We'd have about 3.75 million in savings there if we cut him.
Mm-hmm.
That'd put us at 14 million. That's premier contract level range starting to get into.
That's almost Joe Thuney range.
Almost. That's our ultimate goal. I don't know. So we'll say cut Shamar Stefan.
Mm-hmm. I know one name that's circulating around is Anthony Barr. I'm gonna let you get into him a little bit more. But one guy that might be a surprise roster cut might be Mike Hughes, the former first-round pick in 2018. Really hasn't proven his worth yet.
He's been injured.
Injury prone, and if that neck and that knee are never going to really heal up, I think he's number 15 on here, Justin. Yeah.
Oh, I see him.
Above CJ. If he can't stay healthy, he might be a roster cut. I just don't think being on a roster again on IR for another year, especially we turned down his 5th-year option as well.
Right. I did see that. I think
I just don't. Sad. But.
Yeah. I know. He started. I think he had talent. He's just been injured, and just the cards haven't gone right for him. But I'll start with Anthony Barr. Anthony Barr is a guy who we've seen him in the past almost go to the Jets, cancel that, wanted to come back to Minnesota. I think he's a guy who really likes it here. I think he is also a guy who would be more likely to restructure his deal.
That's not what I've been hearing. I've been hearing
what have you been hearing?
Reached out to him,
and he's not wanting to.
Not wanting to restructure his contract. We're not, for the people watching. When I say not wanting to restructure, we're not saying, hey, we need you to take a pay cut. It's switching his contract around so he gets more of a signing bonus this year, so the tax on it doesn't hurt the cap as much as it would if he would just continue on his contract. His money, he'd still making the same amount of money. It would just be he'd get the money sooner. People would be like, why would you not want to do that? Well, some people like on the tail end of their career guaranteed money and stuff. So it's just a preference on when you want to get paid. And if he does that, if he helps us out, I mean, Kirk Cousins could do the same dang thing. But it sounds like his agents, we all know Kirk Cousins' agent's kind of a money pit. He wanted, if you guys watched that mini series of Kirk Cousins signing with the Vikings, it was all guaranteed. He wants guaranteed money in his pocket. And those two need to, if they want to help the team and they want to, get into the playoffs and win a Super Bowl, it's going to have to be the higher end players taking some sort of pay cut or adjusting their salary. So
yeah, here's the thing though, is that at the end of the day, it's a business. It's it's their job. Britton Colquitt, it wasn't 100% out of the kindness of his heart. If he didn't restructure, he was probably gone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Kirk Cousins, if he doesn't agree to restructure, we're not cutting. He's gonna make more money. That's all that's gonna happen. And it's his job, and he's gonna want more money. And that's just the way the business works.
Right. I understand it's his job, but as I said, he's not losing money. It would be a restructured contract. It would be signing bonus thing. And there's something with, I think you get taxed more on your signing bonus. So you might be losing money, but the dude's made like $230 million in the NFL.
Yeah.
I think he'll be the highest paid quarterback next year in 2022. So I just don't.
Yeah, I don't know. My only thing.
Got Pizza
Going
Ranch
back-
money too.
What's that?
Got Pizza Ranch money and Tepper
Yeah.
stuff.
His great acting skills.
Yeah.
Okay, going back to Anthony Barr here, though. The only reason I don't think we would, I mean, maybe a trade, but I just don't think we'd release him because
Oh, I don't think so either.
we're already not bringing back Eric Wilson. We would, if we got rid of Anthony Barr too, we'd have Eric Kendricks, and that we would have our linebacker core would suck.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's gonna stay or maybe get traded. Honestly, that could be if that happened, it could work out great. I mean, if he got traded for picks, because we have so much picks now, it feels like.
We can move up and down the board.
If we sent Anthony Barr and some picks for a early round pick,
mm-hmm.
clearing up cap space, that could be pretty.
The thing is, I think Anthony Barr is Zimmer's baby. It was Zimmer's first pick ever, and Barr fits the Vikings defense to a T with what Zimmer wants to do. He can fly the rush off the edge, which I think he's better at doing. He's a good zone coverage linebacker. He's not good at man-to-man, as we saw against the Rams a couple of years ago when you got.
But Kendricks is.
Yeah, they kind of play off each other really well. They have a good connection, him and Kendricks. But
exactly,
it's once again with health. He's been hurt a lot.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, if we're gonna trade him, I don't know how much value we're gonna get with this contract. I know some teams will be like, well, we can just wait this out and he might get cut, but it's not going to happen. So I'm guessing he probably has a 3rd round draft grade on his head right now for trade.
Yeah, but if you threw in some extra picks, which we have,
right, you could probably get the low upper 2nd round picks.
So. Right. So let's take a peek at Mike Hughes here. I'm gonna just look at all of our cornerbacks.
Yeah.
We're kind of getting down there on cornerbacks. I mean, we released like 2 super depth people a while ago. I can't remember their names.
Tankersley and someone else.
Yeah, so I mean, if we did get rid of Mike Hughes, a cornerback I feel like we'd have to sign a cornerback.
Yeah, and I think a good target would be to sign a free agent cornerback who is tenured. I know AJ Bowie is suspended for the first 2 or 3 games for substance.
Yeah.
He once was one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL, and it was only a couple of years ago. He was that on top of the mountain. He might be a good signing. I mean, you might have a couple other people that you've looked into.
Right.
Peterson, Richard Sherman.
And
maybe keep issue it in the draft too. I know that Surtain and what's the Virginia? I'm having a mind blank right
Farley.
now. Yeah, Caleb Farley, and then J.C. Horn. They're like the top 3.
Yeah.
J.C. Horn and Surtain, I think, are going to fall a little bit. So maybe if we wanted to stack up trade assets, we could maybe trade back in the draft. But I don't know how much we're going to do that with.
Yeah.
The cut of
I think
brief right now.
From like a logic standpoint, cornerback being such a developmental position and us already having a lot of young guys, I mean, extremely young guys, I think going veteran in free agency would be the best move at the cornerback position.
Yeah.
And maybe addressing offensive line or pass rusher in the draft, which are more NFL ready positions, more so on pass rushers because they just need to be a freak, really.
Yeah, I'm not really jiving with this year's pass rushing group a lot. The defensive line seems like the weakest part of this draft. And outside on the tackles too, it's pretty weak. Outside the front 5 runners, I would say, in the tackle group. Inside's a strength in this draft. Quarterback's a strength in this draft. Wide receivers is a huge strength in this draft, and I think secondary is also a big strength in this draft too. So we have options later on with all the picks we have. All of Spielman's picks in the 4th round. I think we have like 18. I think.
Yeah, and I think there's been, just by looking at, there's a lot of solid like mid-round linemen. I feel like, and Vikings have had great success at like round 3 picks, or round 3 or round 4, one of the rounds. We've just gotten great linemen, or like I think Ezra was round 3.
There's 2. Oh yeah, it was 3. No, was he 2 or 3? I can't remember.
I can't remember. I just remember I was looking at this list of round 3 picks, and they're all stellar except for like one. But anyways, let's move on to some other possible cuts. Now that it's sorted by position here, I'm looking at some of these edge rushers. We got Stephen Weatherly, and what do you think about someone like?
Did we decline Jalen Holmes' contract? I don't know. I think he's still on the team.
I think he's still on the team, but I was gonna say he
should be.
Yeah. Let's cut him. Let's cut him. Puts us at 15. Everything else, I mean, DJ Wanham, Stephen Weatherly, Hercules Matafa. I don't know. He got some
Didn't he
social media drama last year. But I mean, I don't really know what to think about him, but he'll probably stay for now. I don't know. Might go. I don't know. I have no idea.
Right.
Just looking at some other positions here. Jersimia, I hate him with a passion.
Fucking door. Show him the door.
Yeah. I hate you.
He was a 3rd round pick.
Really? Ezra, solid. Kirk, there he is, 31 million. All right. You want to look at some free agents?
I saw a meme on was it Twitter? Yeah, it was Twitter, and it was like Tom Brady, and it was like takes a $10 million pay cut, wins Super Bowl every year, or goes to Super Bowl every year. And then it was like Kirk Cousins, it was like Carson Wentz, it was Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson. It's like didn't take pay cuts, hasn't been a Super Bowl in like 3 years, I think it was. It was like showed their years underneath it.
Yeah, I mean, Tom Brady knows something, I think.
Oh, if he knows,
very hard to know.
If there's more cap room around him, then he can surround himself with better weapons, and it's easy, like it was in the Super Bowl, where it was really easy for them to beat the Colts because they had depth, they had talent,
and the Bucs were just like a powerhouse of big names this past year. Okay, let's look at some possible free agent acquisitions here that we could do with. I mean, the cuts that we made here in orange are the cuts we made, except we're keeping Anthony Barr here. It puts us around 15 to 16 million in the cap range. That is either an elite guy or a couple of medium guys. And here's some possible free agent. I mean, there's a lot more, but these are just some noted ones. And this is where it kind of gets rough because no one can really say how much these guys' contracts would be. Right. But this is a rough estimate based on what they had last year. And some of the younger guys are probably going to be more expensive. Some of the older guys might be a little less or around the same.
Yeah, I know for a fact that I think Sheriff was franchise tagged by Washington. So I don't think he's available anymore.
Some of these top guys are kind of unupdated, but I know Joe Thuney's still there.
Yep, Joe Thuney was passed onto waivers, so he's a free agent officially. And his contract's not going to be. It's not going to be cheap. It's going to be pretty expensive.
If it's around there though, and we signed him, it's affordable.
It is. Cuts. And it totally is affordable. And as it says right there, I don't know what the contract total is. It might be a little bit off, but he between 14 and 17 million is what he's going to be asking for. I know that the Vikings are notorious for being cap wizards, so maybe switching that around to more, as I said, signing bonus could be bigger.
Yeah,
to lessen that effect too. I mean, Joe Thuney doesn't want to go from the Patriots a couple years ago where he was in the Super Bowl every year to, what they were last year, like one of the worst teams in the league. And then he probably wants to be a contender again. I mean, who doesn't want to be a contender besides Kirk Cousins? But,
Here's some other options though. He's the, I would say, the best guard in free agency right now.
The best free agent, I think, for the
Vikings. So here are some other things. If we signed him, unless we do a bunch of other things, that'd wipe us back down on our cap.
Mm-hmm.
We could go a little lower. Not that much lower, but guys like Kevin Zeitler,
mm-hmm.
his last contract was around $12 million, I think,
mm-hmm.
Which isn't that much cheaper, but he's still a solid guard who you could get for a few million less.
Right.
Still be in that veteran, really good guard area, which would be good for us.
Right.
Or guys like even cheaper, like Nick Easton was released recently.
Mm-hmm.
He's a pretty solid guard as well. So those are some potential guard signings. I think we should also address that in the draft as well, though. But a veteran guy would be very big for us.
There's a lot of mid-round, as you said earlier. There's a lot of mid-round talent that could start day one. So.
Right. And then as far as we were talking about cornerbacks earlier, some veteran cornerback options. We've got guys like Patrick Peterson. I didn't realize I thought he was even older than 31, but so that was kind of surprising.
He's been in the league for a while, but he came out of college. He was 20 years old, I think. He was the youngest defender drafted that year. So,
and his last contract was 14, but I feel like that it's going to be less.
Not from what I'm hearing. That's pretty accurate. He's asking for around $14 million a year.
That's tough then. And then Malcolm Butler would also be expensive, I'm assuming.
I've actually seen on Twitter that he's willing to take a lesser deal to be on a contender. So Vikings might be out of it, but we have
Vikings.
Yeah. So
here's a guy though that is a veteran. He didn't have the greatest year either last year or the year before, but I know a couple years ago this dude was stellar. He was top 10 cornerback in the league. William Jackson III,
mm-hmm.
and he'd be cheap-ish, but
once again,
definitely
we're gonna have this like weird rivalry with the Bengals, trading defensive players with them. William Jackson, really good value, has ties with Zimmer, but also can bring that leadership to the locker room that we kind of desperately need in that secondary.
Right. And then you got guys, ex-Viking guys who are free agents.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not as big on Mackenzie Alexander as I used to be.
Yeah.
Got some attitude issues that have recently come out. I think was almost arrested for something. And then we all know Xavier Rhodes is not who he once was.
He had a good year last year, though.
He had a good year last year, but it was in a role that he was very comfortable with. He wasn't really put into situations with the Vikings like he was in 2019. Around the Colts, sorry. But I think Rhodes is probably – the roads are closed in Minneapolis, and I don't think he'll ever return there.
So, and then I added this just for a little fun. Adrian Peterson, bringing him back for a year to retire.
I love it. Let's do it. Bring him back for one more. I think he still wants to play until he's 40. So
yeah, he's like the Tom Brady of running backs. No, that was Frank Gore, but
yeah, I mean, why not? We were going to lose a bunch of running backs this year anyway. So
okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a couple moves here, and then you can comment on them and make your changes. Okay.
Okay.
Here's what I would want to do here with, say we have 15 million cap. We go. Bring your boy back. William Jackson III. How much do we have?
Bringing in Zietler.
Zietler.
Fun fact, I think a couple years ago we were trying to trade Zietler from the Bengals or the Browns. It was the Browns. We were trying to trade the Browns Everson Griffin for him. So
interesting. And then with $1 million left, we go Young Ho Koo. No, I don't know, maybe. Might go like linebacker. I don't know. With Barr back, I guess Eric Wilson kind of was just in for Barr, but I don't really know the details of Matt Milano, but I think he'd be more expensive than that. But do something like that. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I like it. Yeah, I like the positions you brought in. Adrian Peterson just kind of being like the nostalgia. Bring him in, sell tickets.
He'd sell tickets.
I don't know with Minnesota's current state though if we could actually go into games, but
well, Adrian Peterson, sign him. That's only 3 running backs.
Okay.
Would you sign any of these other guys over my combination, or have any other ideas of people not listed on this possible free agent list?
I mean, there are some names out there, but with the limited, we can only make probably one big splash in free agency, and then be another role player, a key role player that would come in for the team. If that was the route I wanted to go down, I think mine would be pretty easy. It would be sign Joe Thuney, plug him in at left guard or right guard. And that right side of the offensive line would look good as hell with O'Neal and Thuney. And that will take actually the pressure off Bradbury, who did struggle last year, but showed flashes of being a solid center. But I think that was more the key to winning against the Vikings was you're gonna rush, you're gonna bulldoze into Dozier and take advantage of that. Whoever was in the right guard spot, if it was Ezra or it was who was that one guy we had? Oh yeah, Pat Elflein. Yeah.
The Elf.
Yeah, Elf on the shelf because he got put on a shelf every time he was blocking somebody.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so I think if we had some semblance of a decent guard, our line could be fixed, and then look to the draft to draft a tackle. If not, move Ezra or Oli Udo, who been growing.
What about like Rashad Hill?
Nope. I mean, if he wants to come back, he could be another. So he can. I think he's really fitted to play any position on the offensive line the way the system is run. So he might be a good 6-man. He's always kind of been there and done that role before. So he could be a good signing.
But I just realized I had him as a yes before, as in being re-signed. But if he's no, and we signed Thuney with that contract, we could still maybe get a guy like William Jackson III.
Yep, and
just
those
barely
cap
be
be eliminated too. I'm sure. I think we actually are going to restructure or extend Harrison Smith. There's some talks of that, so his cap number will take a drastic
extended, and that would be a lot.
It will take. I think that will free up. I think this contract, what they're saying right now, might free up $5.5 million a year.
I believe it.
With just signing bonuses early on, and then probably I don't want to say it, but like probably later on, his contract will not be worth much.
Yeah, I mean, he's making $10 million this year, so that could be a definitely extension. And what's his name? Zimmer loves him. He's gonna want him on that team forever. So
yeah, he'll be one of those guys that if he was traded, it would be a riot. Because Rudolph was close to it, but at the end we kind of saw
Yeah.
The emergence of Smith and Gronklin.
Makes sense. Right. Well, do you have any other notes you want to put out there? Anything, predictions, ideas, any last thoughts on free agency as you stand out? And I just want to say we might have to come in with might not take another 2-month break next time because there's a lot going on, a lot to talk about. We'll be updating, and we might be back soon. You never know.
Yeah, because it's officially, what is it? The restricted free agents can sign right now, or it's not UFA just yet. So
it starts in, I think, a week from yesterday. I think March 17th is the date.
Right. So there's gonna be a lot of movement shaking right now. But one thing I will say, my prediction: Shamar Stefan will not be a Viking this time next week. I think that there's gonna be a big splash within the organization. This is just my wild take here because hot takes are the best takes for views and likes. One of the 3 names I think will not be on the team next week. There's going to be 3 names that I think will not be on the team next week.
Okay.
Kirk Cousins, Daniil Hunter, Anthony Barr. I
could jump on board a hot take for the last. I see no possibility of Kirk leaving.
I do.
Well, I guess we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. If the 49ers come calling, we take that deal.
No.
We'll take a second round. We'll take a second rounder for Kirk. Because then, if we take that second rounder for Kirk, that leaves us. Justin, go ahead and do the trade for Kirk. Yeah.
It's a lot.
And then go ahead and sign whoever the fuck you want in free agency because that's the power we will have.
Oh my
because
goodness.
That's how much his contract is hindering the Vikings. We all know I'm not a big Kirk Cousins fan. He's a good quarterback, but I don't see the ability of him leading us to a Super Bowl. And
Malcolm Butler, Patrick Peterson, Joe Thuney, $4 million over the cap.
And we still have enough room to sign a decent edge rusher then too.
Yeah.
So.
Alrighty.
And then with that second round pick, we take our 4th round picks in one hand. We take our 14th overall pick. We trade up with the Miami Dolphins and we select either Trey Lance or Zach Wilson, whoever falls to that number 3 pick.
You heard it here first, folks. If this happens, I don't know. You have to get all your friends to subscribe.
Yeah, if this happens, make sure you guys share us around the world, make it popular because I just predicted the future.
And if he can predict the future once, he won't stop.
All right, thank you guys for watching. Justin, thank you for being here, taking the time to make another video. Make sure you guys leave a comment if you like the videos, what do you want to see. Just like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Peace.